So would like to invite Mr. Maninder Singh Nayyar. He is the co-chairman of the National Council on HRD Education and Employment of ASSOCHAM. He's consulted more than 18,000 students. He's done his research on the student mindset. Recently, he's also authored a book which is Brentwood's Comprehensive Career Guide, and this was recently released by the Minister of HRD. So we like to listen from him also the student's perspective, and what does the student think when he's looking for an academic institute, what kind of excellence or what are the parameters which he's looking, and same way when the student is going for on the industry side for the placements.
And, first of all, before beginning whatever I have to say to you all, I would like to really give a big round of applause to the organizers who have created this excellent platform, although it is small in number today, but I'm sure with less people we are going to get more results out of it. So I would request you all to kindly give a round of applause to the organizers. Secondly, being the co-chairman at ASSOCHAM National Council on HRD and Education, I would really like to announce that we at ASSOCHAM are looking at such initiatives so that we can partner them, we can support them, and we can present them at various events and in front of people at large. So it's a very good job that's being done here. While I was sitting here since the very first session of the day, I've been listening to all the things. The industry side to begin with, blaming the academia. Well, a usual thing that we see is happening in India since long. Then the academia side, taking their responsibilities and with excellent words delivered by Dr. Raj and the gentleman from G Local University. I have something different to share with you. I was not meant to be speaking today, but I just came here. I just requested Mr. Prashant, because what I'm going to speak is from the heart and not from the mind right now. We in India have this tradition of, the fire brigade reaches a place when the fire is there and everything is lost. Right, the police has a tendency to reach a place when the burglary or the theft or the dacoity is done. So we're so busy because we are large in numbers in taking the steps when the action has been taken, which is against the society, against our society as such. I think a similar kind of thing we are noticing in the education industry as well. Why I'm saying this is because we develop the children, they grow up to do K-12, then they go to a university for their graduation or masters or professional courses, and finally they end up in front of an employer for an interview. And that employer then tells the student who has been learning since last 22 or 24 years of his life, you're not worth what you're sitting here for. And then the employer further challenges the institutions who are sending the student out to them. And oh my God, I really get, it's a big food of thought to think for each one of us. Is this student who has invested 24 years of his life, the initial 24 years of his life, the most important 24 years of his life, learning, is he actually not employable? So if he is not employable, then I will ask you 4 simple things. Is that he doesn't get married in life? I think he does. Is that he doesn't plan a family and produce kids? I think he does. Is that his kids doesn't go to good schools and the family is continued in a particular fashion? I think it does. Is that he doesn't get retired and he is not comfortable in his own world that he has been able to make? I think he does. Okay, the only thing that I can buy from all the speakers' points is that he has not performed up to the level which he could have. But then, my dear friends, let's now calculate what all does this student go through while he is through all these processes of life cycles. Even today, when a student, okay, there is metropolitan cities in India, then there are tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. How many students are coming to IITs, for example, from the metropolitan cities only, and how many of them are coming from other parts of the country? I'm sure it must be around 75% coming from other parts of the country, right? Now, when a student is in class 8th, 9th, he joins coaching classes, tuitions. So for IIMs or for IITs or for various other law or whatever courses, student goes to coaching classes. So these coaching classes are teaching the student in a particular fashion, right? So he gets an edge over other students who do not get the benefit of such coaching classes and all. And then he appears for the entrance test and cracks various examinations. Now, how many students actually take coaching classes and they crack the entrance examinations? And how many of them do self-study and they crack the coaching examinations? I'm sure it is around 65-35. I was in Meerut. I belong to the city of Meerut. I was there last month with my family and my parents, and there was an advertisement in the Hindi newspaper in Nayyar, where a coaching institute had showcased very big picture of a student. All India ranked so much last year, and then they said, "Oh, we are the best." So it just struck my mind. I said, "I don't know. I have never heard about this institute before. Is it the student who's making the institution, or it is the institution that is making the student?" And then you start thinking at international levels. Harvard Business School is selecting a particular level of students who are already here, and then further training them, sending them out as products. Today you have to compete with 500,000 students to take admission in IITs. And then IITs nurture you, and then you become something. So what is it? There's a teacher teaching in a class of 40 pupils, and 5 of them perform, 35 of them do not. Whose responsibility is it? The students or the teachers? It's the same teacher who is giving lectures to all the 40 students. So when we talk about industry selecting the right kind of people, or industry's wish to have the right kind of products to be serving them, and we talk about the higher education institutes to be able to deliver the right kind of academia interface so that they can become products that are sellable in the market later on, we must realize one thing, one very essential thing, that is the industry or the higher educational institutes, are they kind of mentoring the student when they are in the process of choosing something for themselves? A student's competition is nothing when the student is still class 8th or 9th. Suddenly when he enters class 10th, he knows, okay, oh my God, I have to choose either science or commerce or arts or something else. Who guides that choice? Is a student given some kind of facility by even the school or the higher education institute or the industry as such to make a self-research? That what am I meant to be doing? What should I take up? I would say no. And not even in tier 3 or tier 4 cities in the country, but even in tier 1 cities like New Delhi itself. A student is guided by few relatives whom he sees around, few advertisements that he goes across the newspapers, if he reads them, or certainly by the peer pressures. Now, my finding and my request to all the industry members, to all the academia members over here would be significantly to please try and also analyze, to develop the mindset of the students at a very, very initial time, so that the kind of skill or the kind of thinking or the kind of mindset we are trying to induce in the student's mind after he has done the post-graduation or after he has done his professional course, we are able to do that at a primitive stage, so that he becomes a researcher, He becomes an analyst. He starts, analyzing his own self. He starts taking his own decisions. 85% of the students in India do not take their own decisions in terms of career. I have a study to prove that. I have researched on 400 students in last 2 years and have come out with a book that was launched on 9th April. Right. So, mentoring the students at a very primitive level so that we make their mindset, we shape their mindset so that they are born engineers if they are born scientists if they are born businessmen if they are. I think that is something that we should not miss. And I just wanted to share this heartfelt feeling of mine with all of you, so I took your time right now, although I understand I was not meant to be speaking today. So once again, I thank Prashantji and Amitji for giving this opportunity, and I think we all are very lucky to be here today. Thank you so much. Look, I'll give you an example. There is a company called Camel who distributes stationery, school stationery and crayons and pencils and everything. I'm sure if you all recollect your school time when you were very, very young, I'm sure none of you would miss that crayon or Camel competition of drawing, where we were given that geometry box and we were asked to draw. And everybody did it because at that time we were not into choices and everybody liked drawing because it was related to colors. Right. So this company, they involved the students, right? Then they distribute prizes. And the target of the company was, of course, to collect the data, and then they introduced that sketch pen with a Mickey Mouse on it, made themselves popular. They involved the students. Now, for our companies, our industry bodies, our higher education institutes, we need something similar, I would say, to involve the students at a very basic level, but leading to research, leading to self-analysis. I'll also, since you have asked this question, I'd like to share what we have done in this regard, because I have no rights to say if I am not doing something about it. We went across this research that I told you about, 400 students altogether since last couple of years, and we tried to analyze that what is going wrong. Okay, the Indian student today is very quick when it comes to technology. You give him a palm top, you give him a laptop, when he's 4 years of age, he will wrap it up like this. We all, I'm sure, would not be as good at IT and all these things as the students who are in class 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th would be. They're so fast, so quick. Now, you take 10 students who have done class 9th, 10th, and you tell them, okay, what are the 10 basic things that you look at internet? Boys would say Katrina Kaif and girls would say Salman Khan. Have you ever thought about, looking at your career options? Looking at some kind of research for your own self? Looking at what you can do? Looking at some kind of mentors whom you would like to be when you grow up? 9 out of 10 will say no. You can try it. You can try it with your own children. Right? So we need to induce this way of working into our students and involving with them at a primitive level, making them appear for some kind of games or some kind of activities, and then helping them with self-research. So we went around the country looking for somebody who can develop a simple test so that we can tell the student, look, this is your SWOT analysis. As simple, something as simple as that. Now, India, there's so much of problem. The communication can be done in tier 1, tier 2 cities, but tier 3, tier 4 are beyond reach. You really have to be a pen and paper person to be able to reach the tier 3 and tier 4, where most of the India lies. So we got this test developed, and we, did it to almost 2,000 students. We got that. Another important thing. There is no company that we came across who is developing tests according to Indian mindset in India. There were companies based in France or UK or America who were developing the psychometric tests. So when you take the test from these companies, a student takes it, they will say, oh, you can be a very good plumber. The students can be a very good plumber in their countries, but you tell it to a student in India, he will start banging your head. So then we got this test made, we got it Indianized. And after a series of testing, we've been able to come up with something now. And we have already, in 9th April, we had an event at the Imperial Hotel where the HRD minister was there. So we already announced that we're going to give 100,000 tests free of cost to the minister initially, right wherever and whichever students he wants to get tested. So this is one initiative that we have taken for this important cause. And we talk about CSRs, or we talk about primary responsibilities of universities, colleges, academicians, people like me, you, everyone. We should not forget one thing, that whichever industry this, I don't know, I'm sure Mr. Tushar would know it, how much $1 million Indian education industry would be exactly. He's a banker. Maybe $80 billion. So if we are around this industry, if we say that this is the future, then let's not miss the point that it is the student who is going to make it. Harvard is not going to make an Indian student. Indian students have made Harvard what it is. Thank you so much. Any questions or anything you want to know? Most welcome. Institutions are, of course, the catalysts. They are the platforms through which the student has to pass by in his life. You have to be a graduate to be a postgraduate. You have to be a postgraduate to be sitting in front of a company to be employed.
So, if we send average or maybe below average student to, say, Harvard, if given a chance to go, so how
he will not
does
be
it turn
able to
out?
perform. So the question is that why is this student below average when his batchmate, his classmate is above average? Maybe because, okay, everybody has personal circumstances, family circumstances, social circumstances, monetary circumstances, but is he performing up to his optimum level? No. That is the primary aspect why he has not been able to perform the way he should be. So my opinion is only to get the best out of the student, because we have a definition for perfection as well. We say that perfection, is making the best efforts within your constraints of space, time and resources. So if we apply this small quotation to all the students and they are able to perform the best as per their optimum level, I think there will be at least 20 Harvards created in India within, I will not say no time, but at least 20 years, 10 years.
So that implies that excellence, if it is an individual student, is different for different person.
Beg your pardon?
Like every person has a different optimal level.
Yes.
So excellence for an individual is a different, and it cannot be measured. It is different for different individuals.
Yeah, that's why
But
the
for
students...
institutions, then how can we make it a common level?
Look, I'll
It
tell
cannot
you.
be a common level.
Yeah,
for them
it's a very
also.
good question, I understand. Now, what happens is there's a group of students, and they, when they are in class 8th, 9th, the primary thing is, okay, if we want to earn BMW for ourselves 20 years down the line, or if we want good houses and we want good fame and name, let's become a good manager. Let's become a top engineer. Let's become, a scientist. Or maybe a lawyer these days, very famous profession, although I'm also a law graduate. Right? When I did law, people used to say that if you are not good at anything, go and do law. Right? So, the students, are still in that crunch of looking at only 5 or 6 options for themselves. And believe me, most of them, 90% of them, do not get their bread and butter later in life out of these 5, 6 options. They end up doing something else. So if they realize what they are good at initially, as early as possible, I'm sure they are going to deliver better for themselves and for the society and economy as well. That's it. Thank you so much.